Every morning, I wake up to the gentle hum of my sewing machine in the corner of my small workshop. The sun filters through the lace curtains, casting delicate patterns on the wooden floor. My name is Maria, and I am a tailor. People often think tailoring is just about stitching fabric, but it's so much more than that. It's about creating something beautiful, something personal, and making people feel confident in what they wear. After brushing my teeth and getting dressed in my favorite blouse and skirt, always something I've made myself, I head straight to my workshop. It's a cozy space filled with bolts of fabric stacked neatly on shelves, spools of thread in every color imaginable, and sketches pinned to the walls. This is where the magic happens. Every stitch tells a story, and every piece of clothing carries a bit of my heart. A day started like any other day. I unlocked the door at 8 a.m., flipped on the lights, and took a deep breath. The scent of cotton, silk, and fresh ink from my design notebook greeted me. I love this moment, the calm before the customers arrive. After brewing a cup of strong coffee, I sat down at my desk to review the orders for the day. One stood out immediately, a wedding dress. The bride-to-be, Anna, had visited my shop last week, bringing with her a picture torn from a magazine. "I want something like this," she'd said shyly, pointing to an elegant gown with intricate lacework and a flowing train. "But simpler. Something, me." She explained that she didn't want anything too flashy, just a dress that would make her feel comfortable and beautiful on her special day. I promised her I'd create exactly what she envisioned. By mid-morning, Anna arrived for her first fitting. She looked nervous as she stepped into the workshop, clutching the magazine photo tightly. "Good morning, Anna," I greeted her warmly. "Let's see how we're doing." I guided her to the fitting area, where the half-finished dress hung on a mannequin. It was already taking shape, a soft ivory fabric adorned with hand-sewn lace appliques along the bodice. As I helped her step into it, I could see her anxiety melting away. "How does it feel?" I asked, adjusting the pins carefully around the waistline. "It feels amazing," she whispered, staring at herself in the mirror. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "This is exactly what I wanted." "Thank you, Maria." I smiled, feeling a familiar sense of pride. Creating someone's dream dress isn't just about measurements and seams, it's about understanding who they are and helping them express themselves. For Anna, this wasn't just a dress, it was a symbol of love, hope, and new beginnings. After Anna left, promising to return next week for another fitting, I turned my attention to a pile of alterations waiting on my table. There was a suit jacket needing its sleeves shortened, a pair of trousers requiring hemming, and a child's dress missing a button. These smaller tasks might seem mundane, but they're just as important as designing custom gowns. Each piece belongs to someone with their own story, and I take pride in knowing I'm playing a small part in it. As the afternoon wore on, an elderly woman named Mrs. Thompson walked in. She carried a faded blue coat draped over her arm. "Hello, dear," she said softly. "Can you fix this? It belonged to my late husband, and the lining has come loose." Her voice cracked slightly, and I could tell the coat meant more to her than just fabric. "Of course," I replied gently. "I'll take good care of it." As she handed it to me, her fingers lingered on the sleeve for a moment. I nodded reassuringly, and she gave me a grateful smile before leaving. Repairing the coat was a delicate task. The lining was worn in places, and some stitches had unraveled completely. But as I worked, I imagined the memories tied to this garment, the winters braved together, the quiet moments shared under its warmth. When I finished, the coat looked almost new again. I pressed it carefully and placed it in a protective bag, ready for Mrs. Thompson to pick up. Later that evening, as the sunlight began to fade, I decided to work on a personal project, a dress for myself. Sometimes, after long days of creating for others, I need to remind myself why I fell in love with tailoring in the first place. Sketching designs and choosing fabrics is like therapy for me. Tonight, I chose a rich burgundy velvet and sketched a simple yet elegant silhouette. As I cut the fabric and began sewing, I felt a deep sense of peace. Being a tailor isn't easy. Some days are exhausting, with tight deadlines and demanding clients. But then there are moments like today, Anna's joy when she saw her dress, Mrs. Thompson's gratitude for preserving her husband's memory, that remind me why I do this. Every stitch connects me to someone else's life, adding beauty and meaning to both our worlds. When I finally turned off the lights and locked up the workshop, I felt fulfilled. Walking home under the starlit sky, I thought about all the people whose lives I'd touched today, and how their stories had touched mine in return. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, new creations, and new connections. And I'll be ready, needle and thread in hand, to weave those stories into something extraordinary. At home, I poured myself a cup of tea and sat by the window, watching the stars twinkle above. Being a tailor isn't just about making clothes, it's about crafting experiences, building relationships, and leaving a little piece of yourself in everything you create. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything.